Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradari Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nanda Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nanda Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Haribo 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 Nita Gora Haribo Nita Gora Haribo 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 Nita Gora Haribo Oh Premanandi Jai Om Nishpad Paramahamsa Parivrata Acharya Charsat Shri Srimad Bhagavatam Shri Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Gaur Premanandi All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nasta Preshu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Vaivati Naistiki For reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, the very means of conquest, we first offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, the author, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by rendering service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed to practically nil, and thus loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental hymns, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6, Purusha Shukta confirmed, text number 37. Please repeat. Naham, Nam, Yayam, Yada, Ritam, Gatem, Vidur, Naham, Nayuyam, Yad, Ritam, Gatem, Vidur, Na, Vamadeva, Kim, Uttapare, Suraha, Na Vamadeva Kim, Uttapare, Suraha, Tan, Mayaya Mohita Budayas Swa Idam Tanmayaya Mohita Budayas Twaridam Vinirmitam Chatma Samam Vichachmahe Naham Yuyam Yadritam Gatem Vidur Navhamadeva Kim Uttapare Suraha Tanmayaya Mohita Buriyas Twaridam Vinirmitam Chatma Samam Vichaks Mahe Naham Nayuyam Yadritam Gatem Vidur Navamadeva Kim Uttapare Suraha Tanmayaya Mohita Buriyas Twaridam Vinirmitam Chatma Samam Vichachmahe Naham Nayuyam Yadritam Gatem Vidur Navamadeva Kim Uttapare Suraha Tanmayaya Mohita Buriyas Twaridam Vinirmitam Chatma Samam Vichachmahe Naham Nayuyam Yadritam Gatem Vidur Navamadeva Kim Uttapare Suraha Tanmayaya Mohita Buriyas Twaridam Vinirmitam Chatma Samam Vichachmahe
Naham Nayuyam Yadritam Gatem Vidur
Naham Nayuyam Yadritam Gatem Vidur
Navamadeva Kim Uttapare Suraha
Navamadeva Kim Uttapare Suraha
Tanmayaya Mohita Budayas Twaridam
Tanmayaya Mohita Buriyas Twaridam
Vinirmitam Chatma Samam Vichachmaha
Vinirmitam Chatma Samam Vichachmahe Naham Nayuyam Yadritam Gatem Vidur Navamadeva Kim Uttapare Suraha Tanmayaya Mohita Buriyas Twaridam Vinirmitam Chatma Samam Vichachmahe Naham Nayuyam Yadritam Gatem Vidur Navamadeva Kim Uttapare Suraha Tanmayaya Mohita Buriyas Twaridam Vinirmitam Amitam Chakma Sumami Chakmahe. Anyone else? Na, neither. Aham, I. You young, all you sons. Yat, whose? Ritam, factual. Gatyam, movement. Vidu, do know. Na, nor. Vamadeva, Lord Shiva. Kim, what? Uta, else. Apare, others. Suraha, demigod. Tat, by his. Maya, by the illusory energy. Mohita, bewildered. Buddhiyaha, with such intelligence. To, but, idam, this. Vinirmitam, what is created? Cha, also. Atmasamam, by dint of one's personal ability. Vichachmahe, observe. Okay, translation, please repeat. Since neither Lord Shiva nor you, nor I could ascertain the limits of spiritual happiness. How can other demigods know it? And because all of us are bewildered by the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord, we can see only this manifested cosmos. According to our individual ability. Since neither Lord Shiva nor you nor I could ascertain the limits of spiritual happiness, how can ever demigods know it? And because all of us are bewildered by the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord, we can see only this manifested cosmos according to our individual ability. Srila Prabhupada's purport. We have many times mentioned the names of the 12 selected authorities. Dwadas Mahajan. Dwadas Mahajan. Of which Brahma, Narada, and Lord Shiva hit the list is the first, second, and third in order of merit of those who know something of the Supreme Lord. Other demigods, semi-demigods, Gandharvas, Chanaras, Vidyadharas, human beings, or asuras cannot possibly know fully about the potencies of the Absolute Lord, Sri Krishna. The demigods, semi-demigods, Gandharvas, etc. are all highly intelligent persons in the upper planets. The human beings are inhabitants of the intermediate planets, and the asuras are inhabitants of the lower planets. All of them have their respective conceptions and estimations of the Absolute Truth. As does the scientist or the empiric philosopher in human society. All such living entities are creatures of the material nature, and consequently, they are bewildered by the wonderful display of the three modes of material nature. Such bewilderment is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 13. Tribir gunamayer babel ebi sarvamidam jagat. Every living entity, beginning from Brahma down to the end, is individually bewildered by the three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone thinks in terms of individual capacity, that this universe, which is manifested before us, is all in all. All in all. And so the scientists in the human society of the 20th century calculate the beginning and end of the universe in his own way. But what can the scientists know? Even Brahma himself was once bewildered, thinking himself the only one Brahma, favored by the Lord. But later on, by the grace of the Lord, he came to know that there are innumerable more powerful Brahmas as well, and 4 bigger universes beyond this universe. And all these universes combined together form Ekapad Vibhuti, or 1/4 of his energy. Or 1/4 of the manifestations of the Lord's creative energy. The other 3/4 of his energy are displayed in the spiritual world. And so, what can the tiny scientist with a tiny brain know of the absolute personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna? The Lord says, therefore, Mohitam na bijanati mamebhya param abhyayam. Bewildered by such modes of material nature, they cannot understand that beyond these manifestations is a supreme person who is the absolute controller of everything. Brahma, Narada, and Lord Shiva know about the Lord to a considerable extent. And therefore one should follow the instructions of these great personalities. Instead of being satisfied with a tiny brain and its playful discoveries, such as spacecraft and similar products of science, the mother is the only authority to identify the father of a child. So the mother Vedas, presented by the recognized authority, such as Brahma, Narada, or Shiva, is the only authority to inform us about the absolute truth. Thus ends the Bhagavatam purport. To the 37th verse of the 6th chapter, 2nd canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, Purusha Sukta confirmed. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Aganati Milanda Shra Ginandra Shra Shra Kachun Militam Ninatasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, who has opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge, although they were shut by the darkness of ignorance. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Vilati Swapatantikam. When will Rupa Goswami Prabhupada give us shelter under the lotus feet of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? For he has come to establish the mission of Srimad Mahaprabhu. So here Srila Prabhupada gives us the hint to understand the absolute truth. That truth that is impeccable and beyond any sort of relative existence, depending on something temporary like this world, something that is absolute, it's indissoluble, it's permanent. So that truth has always been discovered amongst us meager human beings by the grace of the parampara, or the disciplic succession that expands into our world by the grace of the Lord. The Lord doesn't leave us here alone. Just like scientists give us books and all other forms of study, they have their literatures whereby people can read and understand, and also study under the tutelage or tutorship of a professor who is an expert in that subject. So in the same way, the Lord is very kind. He gives us books to understand the absolute truth, which is, very difficult without this expert literature and an expert God to try to find what is absolute when it really doesn't exist in this world. There is no absolute in this world. It's all just relative and impermanent. But they exist in absolute beyond this world. And at times, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that absolute personality of Godhead, He may incarnate in this world, and He certainly sends His representative in this world to teach about Him. But other than that display of transcendence, there is nothing absolute in this world. Now we may know that the Lord remains in the form of His Archavigraha, or the deity in the temple. And of course the Vedas are here, and there are Brahmanas or devotees who teach that subject. So in that sense, there's an absolute aspect, or like an embassy, representing those spiritual worlds, that absolute world that exists in this world. But especially in the Kali Yuga, they become so covered over by the different forms of sense gratification, by the huge economic system of gratifying the needs of human society, and the big political institutions, the huge gambling institutions, and powerful industries that provide relief and sense gratification for the populace. Temples become small in the eyes of people when they build grand buildings simply for people to come and eat and sleep and gamble away their money. The emphasis is put on enjoying this world, whereas the Vedas, they're teaching us not to be concerned with enjoyment in this world. That we're actually meant to utilize our human life to transcend this world and to attain a world that is permanent, where there is no misery. But people, they don't generally have an interest in giving up a life of so-called enjoyment, or a life where they try to gratify their body in this world. They try to derive sense pleasure or enjoyment from their body and mind in this world. And they're not concerned with doing something to attain something after death. That, just it just doesn't like ring a bell with them. It just doesn't inspire them. So, Krishna is so kind, though. He comes in the form of Lord Chaitanya. And he leaves his representatives to inspire people with the Sankirtan movement. He tries to make life as nice as possible here while concentrating on devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The eternal constitutional position of the living entity that absorbs him in the spiritual world. He tries to actually give us our service mentality that we possess in the spiritual world. He gives it to us in this world. And he says, basically, just gratify the Lord's senses with Harinam Sankirtan, with devotional service. Do it in this world. Don't worry so much about life in general in this world. You can do that as much as needed. But it's not the most important thing. Most important thing is just to revive your bhakti, yoga, your devotional service to me. That is what is important. Not just to work hard to maintain ourselves in this world and then to die and leave, whatever we were able to accumulate to future generations. That's really not much different than the ordinary animals, although it may be more sophisticated. We may accumulate a lot more profit than them. But in the end, they die and we die. And they go to their next body and we go to our next body. And unfortunately, if we never got the hint how to transcend this world, we have to again take birth in a place where birth isn't always so pleasing. And neither is growing up in this world always so pleasing. And what to speak about then having to work and maintain one's life in this world for the most of our years. And then for what? Just to ultimately, suffer some sort of disease and old age and die. So, what's the point of living in such a place? We're not meant to just live here. But nobody teaches us that. They don't teach that. They simply try to inspire us with work in this world. Whether it's a professional this or a professional that. Whether it's a store clerk or a school teacher. They simply want to inspire us with life in this world. Our leaders. But in reality, real life is beyond this world. And we have to utilize our body for attaining that. So, unfortunately, everyone wants to utilize the body simply to enjoy life in this world. But again, that's not the real purpose of the human life. Human life can get us out of here. It can make us self-satisfied while in this world and attain a position so much greater than life in this world that people can't even estimate it. They can't even estimate the achievements of the devotees. Just like Lord Brahma, Narada Muni, and Lord Shiva cannot estimate the greatness of the Lord, similarly, the non-devotees can't estimate the greatness of the devotees and what the devotees attain. They can't really estimate it. They don't even have any faith in it because they can't see beyond. They can't see when, they can't see the heart of the devotee, how much he's relishing life in this world. The devotee, to most of the non-devotees, looks kind of poverty-stricken, kind of simple. You know, somebody who just involved in worshiping God. And really, they don't know where anybody goes after death. All they know that there's a cemetery or a crematorium. That's all. It's all a matter of faith as far as they're concerned, blind faith. You know, faith that you really can't prove. That's how they think about it. But the devotee, he has experience of this. He has experience of the other devotees. He has experience of the devotees in the here and the now. And he has experience of devotees going to the spiritual world. You know, for the devotee, when he's seeing Krishna in the temple, he's seeing Krishna. You know, he's seeing his most merciful Lord being merciful to all the people. Anyone who wants to become a devotee, Krishna blesses them to become a devotee. And if we don't want to be a devotee, you know, Krishna's not envious of anything. He still tries to help that person out. You know, materially. All right, enjoy life in this world. But again, that's sort of superficial because you can only enjoy so much in this world. You know, every great man, you know, ultimately is just carried in a funeral box to either the fire or to the hole in the earth. And, you know, the enjoyment of this world is very, very puny. Srila Prabhupada, he used to compare it to a drop of water in the desert. You know, what in the world is a drop of water going to do for us in the desert? You know, you're dying of thirst and somebody gives you a little drop. You know, it'll probably evaporate on your lips. So, you know, he also compared it to people putting sand in sweet rice. You know, devotees know we make this preparation called sweet rice, made out of rice, sugar, and milk. And it's, you know, it's very nice when it's condensed together. But if you put sand in it, the whole preparation gets ruined. So that's how the enjoyment is in this world. It looks like it's very nice, you know. I have my family, and I love my children, and I have my work, and I'm really absorbed in it. And, you know, everything. I like what I eat. You know, I like my friends. You know, I like my hobbies and recreation. And, you know, I like the security that I have. You know, in the form of, you know, house and insurance and vehicles and, you know, and wealth. You know, I have investments that at any time can be cashed in for unlimited amounts of money. So, you know, people, we may think like that, but the sin is that at any time something could happen. You know, and I could tell you so many stories of things that happen to people that we all have practical experience of. You know, somebody's well off, and then this happens, or that happens. And it just goes on and on and on. So it's like having something nice, a nice milk preparation with sand in it. Or it's like being in the desert, but you can't get enough water to quench your thirst. There's just no real oasis. But Prabhupada used to compare his temples to oases. They're like oases in the temple. You come to the temple and it's like a bubble. It's like a Vaikuntha bubble. Vaikuntha meaning no anxiety, whereas in the world it's full of anxiety. It's full of anxiety. People have anxiety today. You know, is my car going to get stuck just like Katya stuck the car? Well, what do? You walk off and leave it. You walk over there and milk the cows anyway. And you get Dr. John to come pick up the milk or something because it's too heavy for you to carry. But otherwise, you know, in the world, you know, everybody's in anxiety. There could be an accident at any time. You know, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of vehicles, bumper to bumper, all trying to get to work. All it takes is one person sliding into another, and traffic is held up. You know, so many things. And, you know, this is not meant for a place of where we can relax and simply enjoy ourselves. No, we have to be concerned about our spiritual life. You know, we have to be concerned about, you know, serving teachers who understand this world properly, and who don't only have faith in the spiritual world, but they have absolute knowledge of the spiritual world. And they can communicate that to us. And they can teach us about it. And they can build us up so that we can go there on our own. So that we can actually help other people go there. The spiritual master can take a sincere student, you know, who wants to listen, and who will listen, and who will follow the order of the spiritual master, and he can turn that person into a spiritual master. Somebody who understands the absolute truth and can help another person. They don't have to become like Lord Shiva. We can't become Lord Shiva. We can't become like Narada. You know, we're not going to be able to fly around at free will and, you know, and convert the biggest Malechas and Yavanas. We can't become like Brahma, but we have to follow their orders, their teachers. And we have to communicate their message. And then within our own little circle and clan, you know, we can help people. You know, that's what's expected. That is what a guru is. We may not be Jagat Guru, you know, spiritual master of the universe, but if we're a servant of Jagat Guru, a real spiritual master of the universe, then we can communicate that universal message to the people we have contact with. You know, without trying to imitate persons who are far beyond ourselves and will simply be disastrous for us to imitate such beings. You know, we have to follow the leader, not try to become the leader. You know, we can't become God or Krishna. We can't become powerful devotees like Lord Shiva or Narada or Brahma. At least in this life, maybe some other life we may become like Narada if we are, you know, really good devotees, or even a Brahma. But all that's, you know, Prabhupada warns us, can be very dangerous. You know, very dangerous to take birth again in this world. You never know what can happen. Any little mistake can happen and lead to many, many problems that may, you know, we were not really counting upon. No, so better to just take what Krishna has given us. Prabhupada used to say, make best use of a bad bargain. Yeah, the body's a bad bargain, you know. Bodies get sick, you know, bodies have their you know, lack of ability, whatever we do, it's only so great, but you know, that's what we have to work with. So as a spirit soul, we take what we got and we just utilize it for Krishna. We serve Krishna. We serve Krishna's devotees rather than, you know, just working for Sam Walton for a paycheck, you know, simply to pay my bills without serving Krishna. No, you know, we can work anywhere in the material world to maintain ourselves, but we have to utilize that energy to serve Krishna as well. You know, we have to have, like the devotees, you know, they have Krishna in their house. You know, most people, they can't even see Krishna. You know, they even try to go into meditations, you know, to see God or to realize God. But the devotees have Krishna just right in their house. You know, they have a temple in their house. They can see Krishna. They can serve Krishna. just in their house. And whatever they have, even though it may be so little, they can give a little bit of it to Krishna. Maybe they just feed some devotee. I mean, what is the difficulty in feeding someone? You have to prepare something for you to eat. So you just invite some devotee, hey, you want to come eat with me? And you're serving Krishna. Krishna really likes that. Or maybe, we don't even have a house. Like, Bhakti John, you just got a room in the barn, so you can't really invite somebody to come up to your room to eat. You don't have a table or anything. So, but you just say, let's go to the garden office. We can eat together. They have some food at the temple, Or, I bought some dates and cashews, Come and I'll share some with you, I offered them to Krishna first, because devotees always offer their food. We offer our food to Krishna first, and then we eat. So just doing this thing that everyone has to do anyway, eating, the devotees are attaining perfection of eating. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the non-devotees, they're eating only the reactions of what's in that food. That when we eat just for pleasing me, just for pleasing my body, just because I'm trying to enjoy my stomach and tongue, the satisfaction of my body, that's why I'm eating only. So then, that eating only produces karma. Karma means to keep us in this world. Whereas the devotees, they take the same food and they recognize Krishna. Krishna, you have given us life. You have given us this food. We're making this food into a little preparation. Just some date balls. All you do is mash up the dates and the cashews. And you put it there and you say, eat it, Krishna, it's for you. You enjoy it. You made it. You're the creator. I'm not the creator. I'm just your servant. I'm just, this is what my spiritual master has taught me. Please, eat this food. And while you're doing that, I'll try to serenade you. If I'm not a good singer, I'll just chant a little japa to you. Or I'll just go off for a little bit, and read something about you, and you eat that food. And when I come back, I'll clean things up. And so we do like that. And then when we eat that food is spiritualized. Not only does it satisfy us materially, it does the same thing that ordinary food does. It goes into the stomach, it goes through the intestines, it's distributed to the blood, and the blood gives it to all the cells, and we're able to maintain ourselves, maintain this body. So not only does it do that, but it nourishes the person in the body that's all covered up and can't see himself. We can't see ourselves. All we can see is our material body, but we can't see ourselves. But the prasad, the food that's been offered to Krishna and eaten, then we can start to see ourselves. That I'm an eternal soul within this body. I'm as bright as the sun within this body. I'm giving consciousness to this body. Without me here, this body doesn't walk. This body just lays there and rots. What is the difference between a living body and a dead body? What is the difference? They both are composed of the same things. But the body that doesn't have life, it just rots. And the body that has life, it's living, it doesn't rot. It may get disease, but until it dies, it doesn't rot. So the devotee, he understands that I am the life in that body. And when I leave that body, it rots. I'm the person. The person is not the body. The person is, we say the soul. But the person is that little atomic piece of energy, so small that no one can see it. That's who I am. That little atomic particle of spiritual energy that cannot be burned or cut. It cannot be withered or dried. It cannot be killed. It is never born. It's always been. That's me. I'm Krishna's part and parcel. I'm a little particle of him, a little expansion of him. I'm like him. I'm light. I'm bright. I'm eternal. And I have senses. In this world, I may have material senses. But in the spiritual world, I have spiritual senses. Because I'm like him. I'm a person. You know, he has a transcendental transcendental form. And similarly, we have transcendental forms. In this world, his form remains transcendental. But when we appear in this world, our form is material. Because we've been forced to appear by our desire to enjoy karmic activities. So, but we take this same material body and we just use it for Krishna. That's the science. Use everything for Krishna. And when we do that, then it becomes spiritualized. Prabhupada used to compare it to a blacksmith who takes a piece of iron and he puts it in the fire and he beats it until it becomes red hot. You pull it out and you see it's glowing like fire. And whatever you touch, it catches on fire. It becomes just like fire. So when we use our body in Krishna's service, it becomes spiritualized. It becomes just like a spiritual body. Whatever it touches becomes spiritualized. You touch another person and they become spiritualized. And you'll ever watch, how is it that people have become Krishna conscious in the past? How is it that there have been great spiritual leaders, just like there are material leaders that lead people? There's leaders of all these political parties. You see them. You know, Donald Trump is leading the Republicans. And there are a group of people that's leading this other political party. And there's all these political parties in different countries. And they're all led by different leaders. So similarly, there are spiritual leaders that are leading people back to the spiritual world. They've always been there. They can just touch anyone and they become spiritualized. You know, Lord Nityananda knew this. You know, he's the Lord himself. So, I mean, he has that potency. But, you know, because he acts as Lord Chaitanya's servant. That's how he saw Lord Chaitanya. That Lord Chaitanya can save anyone. You know, why are people demeaning him? You know, why are the materialists, you know, not able to see who he is? You know, it's just because he's hiding out. You know, he won't do kirtan in front of them. He's just doing kirtan behind closed doors. You know, but I know who my Lord is. You know, I'm going to make arrangements for him to spiritualize the most disgusting and hateful people in the world. And so Lord Nityananda made that arrangement that these two bad guys, Jagai and Madai, who were the heads of the town materially, like something like the sheriff, but they were real bad guys that, you know, everybody had to respect, that they did what they wanted. And, you know, but they were the ones in charge. So Lord Nityananda made arrangements for them to meet Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya spiritualized them. So similarly, even Lord Chaitanya is so great that he's not like a hog for glory. That, you know, he's just like a demon who's always arrogant and conceited about himself. But Lord Chaitanya wants to give glory to his devotees. So he gives all of his devotees this potency. So like there are different devotees who manifest this potency in different ways. There was one devotee, Abhiram Prabhu, who would go around with a whip. And whoever he struck with that whip, they would become a devotee. And you see this throughout the world. There's spiritual potencies of great devotees. You know, they meet people and those people become devotees. You know, Srila Prabhupada was like that. I didn't have any interest in becoming a devotee. I just wanted to enjoy the world. You know, I didn't want to have to suffer. I didn't want to have to, you know, work hard and always be in anxiety like my parents. I just thought people should be happy, and that's what I was going to do in life. I was going to be happy. And I thought the way you did that was by doing what you wanted to do to be happy. That's all I wanted in life. I didn't like to see people unhappy, and I was determined I'm not going to be unhappy. But, you know, it doesn't take long before you figure out there's a lot of misery in this world. You know, here I am, I want to be happy, but there's these poor people, you know, they don't even have enough to eat. And these other people that are cold. What kind of world is this? If you don't have, like, some kind of box around you to heat things up, you know, people can be so miserable. It's so cold and damp and horrible outside. Or it's so, you know, hot and miserable. So I was just thinking, you know, there must be something more about life that, you know, for people to actually become happy. So anyway, eventually Srila Prabhupada, I would listen to him just to try to understand. You know, what is he saying? You know, he's saying that there is genuine happiness. But, you know, we have to find it in serving that person from whom everything has come from. And not just trying to satisfy ourselves. You know, we're so insignificant, but yet I'm spending all my time and energy just to try to make myself happy. Or a few other people around me. No, if we concentrate on serving that person from whom everything has come, then we can become happy. Prabhupada used to compare it to, you know, watering the root of a tree. If you water the root, the whole tree grows. If you try to just water the leaves and the twigs and the branches, then, you know, it's only going to get so much water. It's going to be stunted. So watering the root is like serving Krishna. When we serve Krishna, the person from whom everything has come, then everything blossoms. And, you know, and I become happy just serving Krishna. You know, Krishna wants us to serve others. You know, he doesn't want us to watch people starve. You know, but what the point is that we're following Krishna. He's leading us. You know, he's engaging us. That's called devotional service. It's an engagement. He's engaging us. You know, do this service for me. You know, he works through the spiritual master. Do this service for me. He works through his devotees. That's called parampara. You know, do this service. By doing that service, you'll become purified. And then the mantra and the text of the Srimad Bhagavatam will become realized. You know, we'll realize it. It won't be just words going in one ear and out the other, and that's their theology. It's just theology. That's all it is. It's scriptures. But no, it becomes revealed. You know, Krishna becomes visible on every page. You know, by pleasing the parampara. So it's like the transcendental happiness. The happiness, like it says in the verse. How did it say that? It said, he said, even Lord Shiva and I and Lord Brahma could ascertain the limits of spiritual happiness. It's like that spiritual happiness is coming down through that parampara. We just have to take the engagement. You know, we take the engagement and we start to experience spiritual happiness. It's part of Krishna. Krishna is Satchidananda. The Ananda is bliss or happiness. So we start to experience that. And then, you know, when we become expert, the devotee helps others to experience that. You know, we engage them in experiencing that. So, you know, that is That is real life in this world. You know, not all this trickery stuff, you know, going to the casino, you know, you drive down I-10 and on the Gulf Coast and all these billboards just inducing people to go to the casino. Look, we brought the Beach Boys for you to come in here, you know. Just come to the casino. You can hear the Beach Boys, and we got 6 5-star restaurants. You know, whatever you want to eat. You want to eat vegan? We got vegan. You know? We have everything. Whatever you want. So, you know, we don't want to, you know, follow these materialists. You know, we have to follow the devotees. You know, they're leading us back to Godhead. This world is not the place of enjoyment. Otherwise, how do I enjoy when, you know, when I can barely walk? You know, and all of us come to that point. Sooner or later. And when I say sooner, it's just like, you know, Juanita's granddaughter. She didn't want to have leukemia, but she got it. She spent a year in the hospital. And she made it out, and her best friend didn't. And she was lucky to make it out. And she still can't go back to school with the other kids. She has to have a tutor come to the house. How old? 12 years old. And that's like an everyday thing. Otherwise, why are there all these children's hospitals? Because there's so many children sick. You know, if we live to be 50, we're lucky. You know, we should have started doing something about this as soon as we heard about it. Because you never know when, you know? You just never know when. But at least when we get old, like, you know, Prabhupada, then he would say, then you know. You know, it could be any day. You have to be prepared. But that's life's perfection. We're ready to go back home to Godhead. I mean, you know, Prabhupada, he didn't want to be kept in this world. Nowadays, you know, they just want to keep you here. Not everybody, because when the money runs out, they don't care about you. But I mean, what good is it just to keep you here? Your body functioning, breathing, some way or another, you know, by artificial respirators. What good is it? You know, unless somebody's helping me to be Krishna conscious. But otherwise, Prabhupada didn't want that. I mean, you know, death comes for everyone. Why prolong it? I mean, it doesn't get any easier. You just get more and more invalid. And, you know, it becomes more and more difficult to hear things anyway. What to speak of thinking, you know? You mean your mind just goes crazy. You know, dementia and whatever. So what is the use of just keeping people alive? You know, everybody should know how to go. You know, we know how to go. We know how to die. We know how to leave this world. You know, we're not here to stay here. We're here to go to the next world when God makes the arrangement. I'm not making the arrangement. God makes the arrangement. I don't control any of these things. You don't control. Nobody controls these things. Only God controls these things. So when God makes the arrangement, let me go. Therefore, even in our state, they let you put on your license. Hey, don't try to, you know, rejuvenate me. What do they call that? Resuscitate. Yeah, don't resuscitate me. They let you put it on your license. I don't want to be resuscitated. Don't do that. They let people put it on their license. And if they resuscitate you, you can sue them after. I told you I didn't want to be resuscitated. Now look at me. I'm stuck here in this hospital like this. I don't know if I'm going to get out. You know, sue them, you know. Because, you know, a lot of people, they understand that. I just want to go, you know. I don't want to have to be kept around in a quality of life that's just burdensome to others and costs so much money. And, And, and what am I getting out of it? I'm stuck here just looking at commercial TV 24 hours a day with some nurses that are only here because somebody's paying them something. Let me go. Take the thing off. So, life is nice for the Atmarama, the devotee who is self-satisfied. But if we're not self-satisfied, then, we can never be happy in this world just trying to please ourselves with lust, anger, and greed. Lust won't appease us. Greed won't make us happy. And our anger will only make us more and more crazy, So that's not self-satisfaction. Self-satisfaction comes from being absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Nice, wonderful qualities like Krishna. Just being kind to others, being friendly, being joyful. One doesn't have to be free from misery to be joyful. I've seen devotees that, are suffering all kinds of pains, but yet they have a joyful mentality. They just take it sort of nonchalantly. Yeah, Prabhu, it's really rough, I tell you, but then they say something funny, or they ask about you, how you doing, You can see how I'm doing, and it's, how are you doing, So, we gain these things just by, being in the association of devotees. That's called parampara. It's all coming down from Krishna, to these great, stalwarts that we're talking about here, Lord Shiva, Narada, Lord Brahma, on down, on down to Vyasadeva, who gave us these books, on down to Srila Prabhupada, who translated these books. And his many disciples that work hard just to help other people, be devotees. They work hard to distribute prasadam in the world. They take so many risk and pains just to try to help others become Krishna conscious. If we try to assist in this endeavor and be around devotees as much as possible, if not anywhere else, at least on the internet, Most people have access in our part of the world. So we can always be in association with devotees one way or another. And doing something to assist them. Then, life becomes perfect. No matter what happens, life becomes perfect just by being a part of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement and helping the devotees as much as possible. That makes our life perfect. We can rest assured that our destination is very fortunate. Prabhupada used to say like that. And you can see it's confirmed. The destination of the devotees is very fortunate. We're all very fortunate. We're getting out of this world of birth and death. And, we're helping others to get out of this world of birth and death. And we're, getting back to, what is really me. Not a bag of bones and blood that loses its flexibility as time goes on and is full of pain. But I'm that eternal spiritual person with spiritual senses like Krishna. I have a spiritual body, just like Krishna. Those are the real worlds, like it points out here. Those are where most of Krishna's energy is there. There's just a little bit here. And the human life is the chance to do that. The dogs and the cats, they can't do that. They're just going to live their life here as nice as possible. And then eventually they'll get a human life and be able to do this. We can help them do that by giving them prasadam. But, they'll get a human form and they'll be able to take the Krishna consciousness. In the meantime, we have to make sure we're taking to Krishna consciousness. Because everybody's got to row their boat, You gotta take care of yourself. You can't just count on somebody else's prayers. We always ask people to pray for me. People ask that all the time, and that's good. But ultimately we have to do our best to help ourselves. God helps those who help themselves. So we do our best to help ourselves to be Krishna conscious. We do something, some way we surrender. It's just a matter of surrender. Some way I can't surrender like that. I can't surrender. Oh, but maybe I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Let me do that. There's something that I can do. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.